Good night. Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming. With these words, my wife and I bid farewell to our last guest of the evening, waving from the front porch. It marked the end of yet another neighborhood holiday party, a tradition Amy and I have upheld for 6 Decembers now. What began with just 4 couples had grown steadily over the years. This year, we hosted over 35 attendees, a third of whom weren't even from our neighborhood. The increased turnout was likely due to the combination of generous libations and the infamous naughty games that had become a highlight of the event. These games had evolved over time, progressively daring but never crossing into R-rated territory. Most of our guests, much like Amy and me, were in their late 20s to early 30s, balancing parenthood with full-time jobs. It wasn't the rowdy college crowd, but rather a gathering of hard-working young parents seizing the chance to unwind. Our neighbors contributed an abundance of food, far more than we could ever consume, while the husbands and I ensured the drinks flowed freely. So, when a few outsiders started joining the festivities, it didn't seem like a big deal. Except this year, it was different. Unbeknownst to me, Amy had invited several of her coworkers, including Ron Stevens, her longtime teammate from the company's outside sales force. Ron and Amy's closeness had become a source of tension between us, especially after some heated discussions just days before the party. After helping Amy tidy up and taking out the trash, I confronted her in the kitchen. It was time to address the elephant in the room. So, what made you think inviting Ron and your coworkers was a good idea for our neighborhood party? I asked pointedly. I enjoy their company, Mark. I thought it would be fun to have them join us, and they seem to get along well with everyone else. What's wrong with that? Amy replied defensively. You know how I feel about Ron and your relationship with him, I retorted. Having him here, in our home, was uncomfortable for me. It's my home too, Mark. I can invite whoever I want, Amy shot back, frustration evident in her voice. And for the record, Ron is not my boyfriend. Your jealousy is unfounded. I saw the looks and whispers, I countered. You disappeared upstairs with him. What am I supposed to think? Amy's face flushed with anger. I'm tired of explaining myself to you, Mark. There's nothing going on with Ron, and I won't apologize for inviting my coworkers to our party. The tension in the kitchen was palpable, the unresolved issues hanging heavy in the air. Fuck you. We didn't sneak upstairs, Ron needed the restroom, and the downstairs one was occupied. I just showed him to the guest bath. I wasn't upstairs for more than a minute or two. God, you're being ridiculous. More lies. You disappeared for over 30 minutes. I know because your friend Gail was trying to distract me so I wouldn't notice you had slipped away with Ron. I watched the clock. You're crazy. Gail was probably just being friendly. God knows why she'd bother with you. Amy deftly avoided addressing the accusation. She was skilled at negotiating, but clearly not as adept at lying. Amy, surprising me by bringing your boyfriend here was a low blow and the final straw. I won't tolerate any more lies or disrespect. I turned and walked up the stairs as Amy continued hurling insults and excuses. In our en-suite, I started gathering my toiletries. As I was putting them into my ditty bag, I dropped my deodorant. It rolled off the counter and into the trash can. Bending down to retrieve it, I glimpsed a flash of gold foil. My heart sank and my hand froze. I took a deep breath and grabbed the foil. Damn it, it was a condom wrapper. Game over. Having had a vasectomy after our second child, I had no use for condoms. Now, all my suspicions were confirmed. She was cheating on me. Amy stormed up to the bathroom door, still hurling insults and insisting I was paranoid. With my back turned, I slowly faced her, holding up the foil. It's not paranoia when it's true. Oh, fuck. Someone must have put that there as a joke. It's not what you think, I didn't do anything. Stop. Just stop with the lies. It's over, Amy. I'm done. No, Mark. It's not over. It was a mistake. It wasn't supposed to happen. Yeah, I know. You didn't plan on me finding evidence of your cheating. That was a big mistake. No, no, that's not what I mean. Please let me explain what happened. I think it's pretty fucking clear what happened. You snuck away from the party and slept with your boyfriend while I was downstairs entertaining your friends. Did that thrill you? Fucking him in my house while I was right downstairs? No. That's not how it was. Please, baby, let me explain. It's not what I planned. I pocketed the foil. Amy stumbled out of the way as I brushed past her, heading through the master bedroom and into the hallway. I could hear her scrambling to catch me as I stepped into the guest bedroom and slammed the door shut, locking it before she could follow. Mark, please, you have to let me explain. It's not what you think. Please, Mark, please open the door. You have to talk to me. Please open the door. I didn't believe Amy knew how to unlock the door, but just to be safe, I pushed a chest of drawers in front of it. Amy pounded on the door, pleading for me to let her in, until I drowned out her cries by turning on the TV at full volume. Sleep was elusive. I couldn't stop replaying every instance Amy had stayed late at work, gone on overnight sales trips, or attended conferences. Was she with Ron during all those times? Shit. The thought was unbearable, but it seemed inevitable. A tear rolled down my cheek as my mind raced with thoughts of how I would tell our little girls that their parents were splitting up. How could Amy do this to our children? How could she be so selfish? Did she fall in love with someone else? Was I a bad husband? Why was this happening? The questions and pain were relentless. Sleep barely came. It felt like only minutes had passed when the morning sun mocked me through the window. I threw off the covers and got out of bed. There was much to do on this Sunday morning. Moving the chest of drawers aside, I stepped into the hall. The door to the master bedroom was open. I peeked inside. Amy was still lying on the bed. I closed the door quietly and headed to the guest bathroom to freshen up. After dressing, I went to the kitchen for coffee. Just as I carried my cup to the table, Amy walked in. She looked worn out, puffy eyes, messy hair, a red nose, perhaps hungover, but damn it, she still looked beautiful to me. Another wave of pain hit my stomach. How could this be happening to us? Is there enough for me to have a cup? She asked quietly. Help yourself, I replied, gesturing toward the counter. My eyes fell on the coffee maker. Beside it sat her cup, with the exact amount of skim milk I always poured for her. Fuck. I hadn't even realized I'd done it. She poured her coffee and joined me at the table. Mark. I messed up. I thought I was being clever. I thought it would teach you a lesson, but I screwed it all up. I was stupid. I just wanted to shock you, but it went terribly wrong. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve to be treated that way. You have every right to be angry with me. Well, thanks for graciously giving me permission to be angry. How magnanimous of you. You invite your boyfriend into our home and proceed to sleep with him, knowing the house is filled with our friends and your coworkers. It's really big of you to allow me to be upset about it. No. I'm completely messing this up. Honey, please let me start from the beginning. It's a bit late to explain your intentions. Last night, I, along with all our neighbors, witnessed you putting your plan into action. Oh my God! Amy exclaimed, jumping up and rushing around to my chair. She pulled on one side of the chair, turning me away from the table. Quickly, she straddled me and wrapped her arms around my neck. Please, baby, you have to let me explain this, please. Just give me 5 minutes. Please, Mark. I leaned back, away from her face in her attempts to kiss my cheek. Tears streamed down her face as she pleaded with me. I was seething with anger. I almost stood up to push her away for her betrayal, but I couldn't bring myself to physically harm her. As much as she deserved to be thrown out for cheating, I couldn't do it. What kind of cowardly person would I be to hurt a woman? Taking a deep breath, I exhaled slowly. Okay, Amy, 5 minutes. But please get off of me. 5 minutes. And I'm not moving. I can't risk you leaving before I tell you everything. I raised my left wrist to check my watch, and she understood my signal. I know now it was incredibly stupid, but last night was all a setup until that idiot Ron messed it up. I raised an eyebrow. All right. You've been going on about Ron for months. You kept saying you didn't trust him, and by extension, you didn't trust me to handle him. Even though I assured you I had no interest in him romantically, you wouldn't believe me. It was like you thought I was some naive teenage girl who couldn't resist a smooth-talking salesman. Ha! Like I'd ever fall for his or any guy's bullshit lines. Yes, he did try to make a move on me, like many other guys do. Sometimes even my customers try to flirt, thinking it might sweeten the deal. Mark, I'm not oblivious. I know what I look like, and I know guys will always try. But I always say no. Sure, I've learned to say no with a smile, so as not to bruise any egos, but it's always a firm no. So after what felt like the 40th or 50th time you went on about that jerk, I got angry and decided to prove to you how wrong you were. So I came up with a plan and asked Ron and Gail to help me. I knew you saw me go upstairs with Ron. In fact, we waited for you to finish refilling the ice bowl so you'd be facing the stairs when we made our move. Gail was supposed to be so obvious that you'd immediately notice she was our distraction while we snuck upstairs. It all went exactly as I had planned. I took Ron to our room and sat him in my chair. I sat on the bed, expecting you to burst into the room any moment. After several minutes, it became clear you weren't coming to confront me. At that point, I was too intoxicated to grasp how deeply I had hurt you. I think I believed you had given up on us, so I started to cry. Ron came over, held me, and let me cry on his shoulder. After a while, he began rubbing my back and stroking my hair. When he kissed me, I hesitated for a moment before pushing him away. I was slow to react, and he misinterpreted that as encouragement. His hands moved down my back, gripping my waist as he pressed his erection against me. I pushed him off, and he stopped kissing but continued to press against me. I pushed harder, and we broke apart. I confronted him, demanding to know what he thought he was doing. He smirked and said, "Come on, I know the plan was just an excuse to get me up here." Well, we're here now, so let's make the most of it. As he spoke, Ron dropped his pants, revealing his erect penis. The idiot already had a condom on. I grabbed my heel and threw it at him, hitting him in the chest. He winced, finally realizing my anger. He then turned and fled into the bathroom, presumably flushing the condom and disposing of the wrapper in the trash. Darling, I had no idea Ron would do something like that. I told Gail what happened, and she tore into him, making sure he left with her. I can call her, and she'll confirm everything. I stared at her silently. Slowly, I stood up, keeping an arm around her as I eased her off my lap. I let her go, picked up my cup, and walked to the coffee maker. As I refilled my cup, she approached me tentatively. "Mark? Please talk to me. I know you're still angry about what I did, but I didn't cheat. I told you what happened. I never touched him. Like many of us, he was a bit drunk last night and made a mistake. Kissing me and exposing himself was definitely not part of my plan. He acted foolishly. I don't want this to cause problems at work, but come Monday, Gail and I will ensure he faces consequences for his actions. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Can you ever forgive me?" I scrutinized her for a moment before speaking. "So what you're saying is you orchestrated your sneaky trip upstairs specifically so I would catch you in the act. You assumed I'd be furious and rush up to our bedroom to stop my wayward wife from being with her boyfriend on our bed. Then, when I burst in and found you both innocently chatting, I suppose your plan was to mock and ridicule me for being a jealous husband. Let me guess, Gail was going to lead your coworkers up the stairs behind me so they could all join in laughing at your supposedly paranoid husband? Maybe they would make such a spectacle that all the other party guests would come running to witness it, and then our friends and neighbors could all join in laughing at the foolish, jealous husband? So that was your plan? You thought humiliating me in front of everyone would finally make me see how wrong I was about Ron. How I kept jumping to conclusions and how much it hurt me to have those suspicions about you. I guess you thought this joke would show me just how mistaken I was. So when I didn't storm up the stairs and catch you too, ruining your fun and angering you enough to seek revenge in another way? So you came up with a brilliant idea to teach me a lesson, to assert dominance, to put me in my place. Amy paled. What do you mean? What lesson? What are you talking about? You know, actually going through with it, letting Ron be with you on our bed while I was downstairs hosting. That must have been a satisfying revenge for ruining your plans. Oh my God, here we go again. I told you what happened. Yes, you gave me your version of events. Not the whole version, because you conveniently left out a few details. I'm sure you and Gail spent a lot of time crafting that version last night, adding just enough truth to make it seem believable. I don't know what you're talking about. Look, Mark, I admitted I was wrong. Please, baby, let's just forget about my stupid plan and stop fighting. Oh no, I don't think so, I said, pulling a plastic baggie from my pocket. This was your revenge. This is the part of the story you didn't tell me. This proves I can't trust anything you've said. Amy stared at the baggie, trying to discern its contents. I held it up, letting it sway slightly in my fingers. She squinted, then realization dawned on her face. I smiled at the shock registering there. He really is an idiot. He tied it off before flushing, but the air bubble kept it from going down. I got up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom and found it floating in the bowl. The idiot didn't bother to check if it had flushed. Oh my God, Amy gasped, staring at me. Yeah, I'm guessing when I didn't fall into your little trap, you got so angry that when that idiot waved his condom-covered penis at you, you decided to teach me a lesson by actually having sex with him on our bed. And after you did it, you realized you couldn't let me find out. So you hurried him out of the house and later called Gail to concoct the story you told me. I assume she's been on the phone all morning coaching your version of events to your partner in crime. Amy lowered her head. I held the foil and the cum-filled condom. There was no way she could spin her sanitized version of events to explain away the condom. Defeated, she sighed deeply. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I lied to you. You're right. When you didn't come charging upstairs, I lost my temper and wanted to punish you. I was drunk enough to think that letting Ron fuck me bent over our bed would teach you a lesson. I know, stupid, right? Hell, everything I did was stupid. My plan to embarrass you was stupid. Fucking Ron was stupid. I've really screwed everything up. As she sobbed with her head hung low, I pondered what this meant for our future. Was this the end for us? Could I move past a one-time mistake born out of anger and frustration, fueled by my constant doubts? Doubts, that persistent feeling in my gut that something wasn't right. Months ago, I sensed a change in Amy, but how? Why did I start believing she was involved with Ron? Why was she willing to go to such extremes to prove Ron wasn't a threat, at least until last night when she let wine and anger get the best of her? And the fact that she saw secretly having sex with Ron as a fitting punishment for me ruining her plan. That wasn't the Amy I married. When did sex become so meaningless to her that she could use it as symbolic punishment? Oh shit. Oh shit. Sex without love, but for some other purpose. Damn. I looked at her sobbing figure. She had become a master manipulator. Gail must have taught her the art of negotiation, using all her assets. Gail, her mentor. The woman who consistently outperformed her male counterparts in sales. Gail, the flirtatious divorcee who took young Amy under her wing. Gail, who had shown Amy how to win negotiations with male clients. How could I have been so blind? I had been proud of Amy for rising to the top in her sales role. She had received numerous awards and bonuses over the years. Gail had been her biggest supporter. Those bonuses had allowed us to start college funds for our kids and pay off our debts, but at what cost? Time for some answers. I began clapping slowly. Bravo! Bravo! That was quite the performance. Quick thinking indeed. Gail has certainly trained you well. You realized you'd lost the Ron skirmish and swiftly shifted to this tearful apology, hoping I'd focus on your singular mistake. A mistake made in the heat of the moment, fueled by alcohol, and one you're banking on me forgiving, all for the sake of our children. I have to give it to you, it's a shrewd strategy. You know how much I adore our girls and how far I'd go to protect them from any pain. So you're betting on me setting aside my anger at your mistake to shield our innocent children. And why wouldn't I? After all, you've laid bare your cruel plan to humiliate me and admitted your mistake born of frustration when I foiled your plans. You've taken full responsibility and pleaded for my forgiveness. What more could you possibly do? The tears had ceased. Amy stood frozen, analyzing my expression, silently trying to gauge my thoughts and regain control of the situation. Amy, I believe your account of Ron and last night. I regret ever suspecting you of having an affair with him. I'm now convinced that last night was your only indiscretion with Ron. Yes, baby. It was a mistake, I swear. I'll never have any sexual contact with him again. Please, honey, can we move past this? I love you so much. Please, baby, please. Even if I were to overlook your attempt to humiliate me and your infidelity in our bed, there's still the issue of the others. What? What do you mean, what others? I've been blind for far too long. Once I got to know Gail and heard the rumors about her, I should have seen it. But I trusted you. And later, when my gut told me something was wrong, I blamed Ron. I was wrong about him, but I had every reason to doubt you, didn't I? Doubt? What are you talking about? I let out a heavy sigh, sinking back into my chair, shaking my head. I was exhausted from the deception, the half-truths, the misdirections. While I lacked concrete proof of her actions, deep down, I knew I'd lost her months ago. My beloved, the woman I thought I'd spend my life with, was gone. There's no denying Gail showed her the way to wealth and rewards, but Amy chose to walk that path. She willingly ignored her vows and sold herself. And for what? Her ego? A few extra dollars? Cheap thrills? None of it mattered anymore. Amy, I know what you've been doing. I know how you've closed so many deals. It hurts me beyond words to see what you've become. The shock on her face confirmed it all. It flashed briefly before she composed herself and tried to smile at me. Mark, honey, I thought we were past all this. I admitted my mistake with Ron, but I have no idea what else you think you know. Let's stop this madness and move on with our lives. We need to clean up and go get your daughters. They love being with your parents, but I'm sure they miss their daddy. And so we did just that. I spent the day with my girls, showering them with love and pondering my next steps. On Monday, I met with a lawyer and filed for divorce on grounds of irreconcilable differences. My lawyer warned me not to expect an easy road ahead, but she filed the petition, requesting joint custody with me as the primary custodian. I had Amy served at her workplace to ensure Gail took notice. In the mid-afternoon, my phone rang shortly after confirmation that Amy had been served. Mark, are you out of your mind? Divorcing me over that mistake with Ron? It was a mistake, it was stupid, and we discussed this. Baby, don't do this to our girls. You love them too much. Punish me however you want, but please don't tear our family apart. I've already told you, Ron is just a small part of this. I can't stay married to who you've become. This is insane. Baby, I'm worried about you. I know you're struggling with my mistake, and I understand that, but this divorce talk could hurt our girls. We need to work through this. Maybe we should try counseling. Should I set that up? Sign the papers, Amy. Once you do, you can live your life however you want. The girls and I will be fine on our own. They'll stay with me, and you can visit them whenever you want. No, Mark. There will be no damn divorce. And I won't let you take my girls away from me. Stop this now. If you push this, it won't end well for you. Mark, I love you. Please don't make me fight you. An hour later, my phone rang again, and it was Gail calling. I had been expecting her call. Tell your protégé to sign the papers. It's your only move. She signs, the girls stay with me, and you can keep pimping her out to your clients. Silly boy, you have no proof she's done anything other than that one time with Ron, and that had nothing to do with me. Come on, you're smarter than that. I don't need proof. I just need to make the accusation loudly and publicly. She's done it so often, I'm sure one of your competitors will invest the time and energy to gather the evidence needed to file a complaint. That'll trigger an investigation, and you definitely don't want that. Bitch. You'd do that? You'd ruin her just for revenge? You know the girls will suffer if anything comes out about their mother. She signs the papers or I go public. And Gail, if it goes public, I'll be sure to mention your role in training and advising her to become the latest sales asset at your company. Do you think the board of directors will have any questions for you? Tell her to sign, and she'll listen to you. My lawyer received the signed papers a week later. Amy moved into a nice condo about 2 miles from our house. She sees the girls often and attends all their school and sports events. We rarely speak, and as far as I know, she continues to use all her assets to close sales and win awards. A week ago, I saw Gail and Amy leaving a nice restaurant. I had just pulled into the parking lot as they approached Gail's car. Gail opened the door and then turned back to Amy. She pulled her into an embrace, and they kissed passionately. I sat there for several minutes. Once again, Amy had surprised me. Damn, how could I not have known she was into girls? It certainly explained how Gail wielded so much influence over her. I guess I never really knew her, but I'm glad to be free of her. I'm not sure if I'll ever marry again, but if I do consider it, I'll be asking a lot of questions before slipping a ring on her finger. Lesson learned. Write your opinion in the comments. Thanks for watching and have a great day.